Welcome back to the Senior Health Podcast, where time-honored Eastern wisdom meets cutting-edge Western science, empowering you to thrive, not just survive, after 60. Today's episode could truly save a life, perhaps even yours. Each year, hundreds of thousands of seniors suffer strokes, many without any prior warning. But what if the early signs weren't hidden, just overlooked? And what if seemingly harmless morning routines, things you've done for years, were quietly tripling your risk? Returning to the show is a voice of uncommon experience and insight. He's practiced medicine for over a century, still sharp, still serving. And he's here today with a message every senior needs to hear before it's too late. Dr. Hinohara, welcome back. Applause. Dr. Hinohara. Thank you, John. It's always a privilege. And yes, this is one of the most urgent conversations I have with my older patients. Strokes don't come out of nowhere. The signs are there. The causes are there. With awareness, they're often preventable. But the danger begins early, often in the first hour of the day. That gives me pause. Because most people picture strokes as sudden and dramatic, a collapse, slurred speech, a frozen face. But what you're telling us is that the real warnings often whisper before they scream. They emerge during the most ordinary acts, brushing teeth, tying shoes, pouring that first cup of coffee. Dr. Hinohara. Exactly. That's why this episode matters. It's not just about emergency response, it's about recognizing the signals before crisis strikes. We'll cover the early signs most people miss, and the most dangerous morning habits I see in seniors, some of which may surprise you. And let me say now, the final two habits we'll discuss are the most hazardous and also the most overlooked. If you're over 60, or love someone who is, stay with us until the end. This isn't just about prevention. It's about protection. And every change we suggest today could mark the difference between a normal morning and a life-altering event. So, Dr. Hinohara, what's the very first warning sign you teach your patients to watch for? Dr. Hinohara. It's not pain. It's not dizziness. It's something far more subtle, and dangerous precisely because it is subtle. It's a sudden lapse in coordination. You reach for a toothbrush and miss. You sip tea and it dribbles. You button a shirt, but your fingers feel off. Not paralyzed. Not numb. Just, not quite right. These small slips aren't just signs of aging. They're neurological. Your brain orchestrates every movement. When familiar motions feel clumsy or laggy, that's not normal aging, it could be a signal of impaired blood flow to the brain. Have you seen this in your practice? Dr. Hinohara. Many times. One patient comes to mind, 74, retired accountant, mentally sharp. He came in, not because he felt ill, but because his wife noticed he kept fumbling his keys. He struggled with buttons. He mentioned that a few days earlier, he blanked while writing a grocery list, forgot how to spell milk. No headache. No speech issues. But clearly, something was wrong. We scanned his brain. He had experienced a TIA, a transient ischemic attack. We adjusted his medications, improved his hydration and nutrition, and closely monitored him. He never suffered a full stroke, because we caught the warning. That's the key, isn't it? Catching it before it becomes irreversible. Dr. Hinohara. Exactly. One Lancet Neurology study found that patients who received treatment within 48 hours of a TIA reduced their risk of a major stroke by over 80%. That's how fast intervention matters, and how profoundly it can change outcomes. That's sobering, and empowering. Because it means awareness can literally save your brain. Dr. Hinohara. Yes. But only if you know what to look for. And when. You've often said the most dangerous time for strokes isn't during peak stress, but first thing in the morning. Why is that? Dr. Hinohara. Because your brain wakes up before you do. After 6 to 8 hours of sleep, the body is mildly dehydrated. Blood becomes thicker. Cortisol, a stress hormone, spikes sharply at dawn, and blood pressure often follows. For seniors, that creates a perfect storm: thickened blood, constricted vessels, and surging pressure, all in aging arteries. Add in the wrong morning habits, and stroke risk quietly triples. Let's talk about those habits, because I know they'll sound familiar to many of our listeners. Dr. Hinohara. Yes. These aren't rare mistakes. They're common routines. But after 60, what's common can become costly. And the most overlooked habit is this: not drinking water first thing in the morning. Most people wake up, maybe brush their teeth, scroll their phone, pour a coffee, and skip hydration. But after 8 hours without fluids, the blood is thicker, more viscous, and thick blood clots more easily. One study in the European Journal of Neurology found that 48% of first-time ischemic strokes were linked to low morning hydration. That's nearly half, not due to genes or diet, but simply dehydration. So what's the right thing to do the moment we wake up? Dr. Hinohara. Drink water, room temperature or warm. A full glass before coffee, before pills, before the news. You're not just quenching thirst, you're rehydrating the brain. That hits home. I've spent years starting my day with coffee and nothing else. Dr. Hinohara. Most people do. But the brain doesn't crave stimulation, it craves circulation. And that begins with hydration, not caffeine. That distinction is so helpful. You're not scaring us, you're showing us how to cooperate with the body's natural needs. Dr. Hinohara. Exactly. The brain wants to flow. The body wants to heal. We just need to stop interrupting it. Let's go to habit number 2. Dr. Hinohara. Habit 2, lingering in bed too long after waking without moving. Scrolling your phone, sitting still, it seems restful. But for seniors, prolonged inactivity after lying down can cause blood to pool in the lower body, slowing return flow to the heart and brain. Gentle movement, ankle rolls, toe flexes, shoulder circles, can safely prime circulation and reduce stroke risk. So, move early, even if gently. Dr. Hinohara. Exactly. 2 minutes of light motion is all it takes to signal to the body, the day has begun. It's time to flow. What's the third habit? Dr. Hinohara. Skipping breakfast. Not a big meal, just any breakfast. Many seniors drink coffee, take medications, and eat nothing. But after 60, this raises the risk of hypoglycemia, especially if on blood pressure or diabetes meds. The brain runs on glucose. Without food, it suffers. I recommend a small, protein-rich bite, a boiled egg, a spoonful of yogurt, a few soaked nuts. That's such a doable shift, and vital. Dr. Hinohara. It's not about appetite, it's about circulation, stability, and rhythm. On to habit 4. Dr. Hinohara. Rushing into stress. Checking the news, reading emails, engaging in tense conversations, before your brain has stabilized. Cortisol is already high at dawn. When we add psychological pressure, we spike risk. A 2015 stroke study of over 93,000 people found the highest stroke risk occurred in the first 3 hours after waking, especially under high psychological strain. So the solution is: Dr. Hinohara. Create a buffer. 10 minutes of peace. Sit quietly. Stretch. Sip tea. Let the brain settle before you ask it to perform. This is not luxury, it's neurological hygiene. And finally, the last habit. Dr. Hinohara. Stillness. Not the mindful kind, the kind where you sit motionless for an hour after waking. No blood flow. No movement. just stagnation. After 60, that's dangerous. It's how clots form. Even light movement, marching in place, walking to the mailbox, stretching, can kickstart circulation and protect the brain. That brings us full circle. Because what you've shown us today is that stroke isn't always sudden. The risk builds, in the smallest, quietest parts of our day. Dr. Hinohara. Exactly. Health after 60 isn't about dramatic changes. It's about small, consistent awareness. The brain doesn't demand perfection, it just asks us to listen. So to our listeners, listen to your body. Start small. And start early, because the first hour of the day may be the most important of all. Dr. Hinohara. And remember, when blood flows, the brain thrives. When the brain thrives, you thrive. Stay well.